Hi students, in previous class we have learnt about parts of the oral cavity. Let us discuss about esophagus in alimentary canal. Esophagus is a tube-like muscular structure. It is lined with circular and longitudinal muscles. The internal wall of the esophagus lined with mucous membrane. Esophagus do not participating in digestion of food material, but it is a passage to send the food into stomach. The circular muscles wherever designed on the esophagus, they are making some kind of contraction, and longitudinal muscles making relaxation. Once if we have degluciate some food material into the esophagus, that food pass towards into the stomach. To pass into the stomach easily, the wall of esophagus makes some contraction and relaxation. While making some contraction along with circular muscles, longitudinal muscle should take rest, and after completion of the contraction, the longitudinal muscle should get relaxation. While making contraction and relaxation, the food pass towards the stomach. This kind of movement is known as peristaltic movement. We can see this kind of peristaltic movement while observing the movement of the water waves. Once if the food reached into the anterior portion of stomach, between posterior portion of esophagus and anterior portion of stomach contain one lid is there. This lid is known as cardiac sphincter. Sphincter means a lid which is covered to prevent backflow of food material from stomach to esophagus. Once if the food reached into the esophagus, immediately the food freely pass into the stomach, because the esophagus contain mucous membrane. Thus mucous membrane helps glide the food material into stomach, and once if the food enter into the stomach, it has occupied into different regions. We know the stomach has three regions, where the upper portion of the stomach contain cardiac region, and the middle of the stomach contain fundic region, and the posterior portion of the stomach contain pyloric region. Mainly we have to learn the stomach is lies in the left side of abdominal cavity above the diaphragm. I think you know very well about diaphragm. Diaphragm is a membrane where the abdominal cavity and thoracic cavity separated. Let us we learn about stomach. Stomach has some glands. The internal membrane of stomach contain gastric glands are there. These gastric glands produce gastric juice. This gastric juice contain hydrochloric acid is there, HCl, pepsin is there, and mucus is there. Hydrochloric acid helps or act on proteins and to activate the pepsin, and also helping for the killing of bacteria when we have consumed along with food material. And mucus is helping to prevent the wall of stomach from hydrochloric acid. Here the wall of stomach is also produce some contraction and relaxation with peristaltic movements. Here the food should pass into another organ with peristaltic movements only. Once if the food partially digested here, that partially digested food should enter into another part, which is partially digested in the stomach, is known as chyme. Here the chyme to pass into the another organ, the posterior portion of stomach contain again another lid is there. That lid is known as pyloric lid or pyloric sphincter. This pyloric sphincter pass a little bit amount of digested food into U-shaped organ which is called duodenum. The anterior portion of the duodenum attached with posterior portion of the stomach, and posterior portion of the duodenum attached with small intestine. Here duodenum do not participating in digestion, but it is a common passage for some enzymes which are secreting along with pancreas and liver, and after that the food pass into small intestine by peristaltic movement. Pancreas release some amount of pancreatic juice, and liver is also release some amount of bile juice. The bile juice and pancreatic juice both are entered into hepatopancreatic duct. The hepatopancreatic duct is a common duct which is entered into duodenum. In the duodenum there is no any glands to secrete enzymes, but whenever it is entered into the small intestine which is called jejunum, in that region contain some intestinal glands are there. We have learned some glands are present in oral cavity which are meant for salivary glands, and some glands are present in stomach, gastric glands, and some glands are present in intestinal glands. Along with these three glands, pancreatic gland and liver gland is also involving in digestion. So in the digestion, alimentary canal and some associated glands are involving for the digestion of food material. When we have observed the size of the or the length of the alimentary canal above 9 meters in adult human being. Among the 9 meters, the small intestine will be 6.5 meters. Remaining 2.5 meters occupied with esophagus, stomach and large intestine, which is sent into the small intestine. That food again digested into small intestine by the participation of some pancreatic enzymes and some liver enzymes, which is turned in stomach. That corn food is known as chyle. So now the chyle is present in small intestine. Here in the small intestine, to digest protein, carbohydrates and another kind of substances, pancreatic enzyme and liver juice, some other kind of enzymes are also, intestinal enzymes are also involving in this digestion. I have told you in liver there is no any enzyme, but in the liver contain bile salts are there. These bile salts helping for the splitting of fatty molecules into small globules, which is meant for emulsification. Emulsification is a process, the splitting of fatty molecules into small molecules. In the oral cavity, the fat should not get any change, and in stomach the fat should not get any change, and in small intestine the fat can get change into small globules, and whatever the food partially digested in the small intestine or stomach or oral cavity, again that can be completely digested by the participation of some enzymes such as intestinal enzymes and pancreatic enzymes. The intestinal enzymes such as sucrose convert the sugars into maltose, and peptidase converts the proteins into peptones, and finally undigested food should send into large intestine by making peristaltic movement. Let us observe the small intestine. The small intestine contain finger-like projections which are called villi. Villi has number of blood vessels to absorb the digested food from the small intestine, because most of the food material should digested in the small intestine only. It has numerous projections. Each projection can expand themselves. Whenever the villi expand, the size of the intestine can absorb more digested food material into the cell. So which is digested in the small intestine, that should send into liver. The liver can separate the toxicant and pure material. Again, the pure material should send into all over the body, and separated toxicant material or waste material again send into hepatopancreatic duct as a bile juice. Remaining bile juice which is entered into the bile duct, that should reabsorbed in the large intestine. And also large intestine, there is no digestive system, but here when the undigested food contain water, that water should reabsorbed and send into the blood. On that manner, the food is digesting in alimentary canal by the participation of associated glands. Here in this process involve ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and defecation. What is meant by ingestion? The process of taking of food into the oral cavity for partial digestion is known as ingestion. After ingestion, the food should partially digested in oral cavity and stomach, that is digestion. And after the digestion of the food in small intestine, the digested food should absorb, that is absorption. And absorbed food once again sent into liver and cells, it is known as emulsification. The overleft food material in the large intestine should sent out along with anus, it is known as defecation. So the digestion involves ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and defecation.